Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Tea Time with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 10th of April 2019, so welcome everyone. Welcome to this Wednesday's afternoon session where we're going to have a look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, let's quickly jump into the charts. Now, the first one I want to touch on here is the Nasdaq100. I was talking about this one in one of our previous videos, basically, where I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on some of these key important resistance and support levels. So if I zoom in here a little bit, so basically we can see that the index kind of continues to trade within this little range here between the 7,505 level approximately there on the downside and the 7,590 level on the upside. So in a way, we're continuing to monitor these two levels. We need to see a nice good firm break, and especially a close, a daily close above one of these, above the 7,590 level or below the 7,505 zone. So it continues to kind of balance around slightly closer to this upper side. Of course, that's what we're going to be looking at here. Looking at the cash index right now, I mean, yesterday the index closed around the 7,570 zone. So today, right now, kind of the index is just balancing slightly above the closing price. So we're gonna still continue observing this key area of resistance, the 7,590 level, in a way, for those who like a nice beautiful number. So we also could continue observing the 7,600 zone. So basically, just for better confirmation, a nice good pop above the 7,600 level could potentially open the path towards the next area of potential resistance here near the 7,691. And just to kind of, if I zoom back out here, basically that was the all-time high here, or should I say close to the all-time highs. So keep an eye on that one, keep an eye on the 7,691 level, but only if we see a nice good pop above the 7,590 initially. Of course, like I said, the nice beautiful number of 7,600 also, that's an important one. So you could in a way keep your eyes on the last one, and yep, then we could potentially target the all-time highs again. So quite exciting here for Nasdaq. In terms of the downside, as you can see by the chart here, it's slightly almost self-explanatory. Basically, we need to see a drop below the 7,505 level before we could consider a retest of this this upside support line. A bit of a tentative one, don't get me wrong, taken from the lows of December, but still an important line for us. We are going to keep an eye on it, but if that fails to withhold, and if we see the price dropping below the 7,393 level approximately there, now this is where it could become more exciting for the bears, and we could see this one sliding further down here initially, of course aiming for the actually, let me just adjust this level because this level is a bit out of reach here. Initially, we will be aiming for these lows here around the 7,275 zone, but if that fails to withhold, we do have another potential area here around the 7,205 or 200 level. So, but then again, that's quite a far away for now for this index, because it is looking more bullish than bearish. But again, in order to kind of consider higher levels in the near term, or in the short run at least, we need to see that nice pop above these 7,600 levels. So keep your eyes on this one. Brent oil. Now, also it's kind of stuck here between these two levels, so the 70.30 on the downside and the 71.30 on the upside. Now given the fact that looking at this chart here, we can see that it already had a nice rally here to the upside. Of course, don't get me wrong, I mean it might have still plenty of room to climb higher, especially going back here towards the October levels, around the 75, 76 zones. So there are some good higher levels here, good potential higher levels to reach. The only thing is that let's go step by step on this one. Let's not kind of get ahead of ourselves too much. And basically what we're going to do here is, if I'm zooming in here, we're going to keep an eye on this little tentative upside support line from the very short-term perspective, of course. So this one right here, taken from the low, around the low of the 28th of March, and basically if we see a drop below that, this would also place the rate, the price below the 70.30 level, and this way we could maybe see more sellers coming in here, potentially driving this one down, and a very good area of support here, of potential support, could be seen near the 68.86 or 80 level, approximately there. So in a way, something like this basically could be a nice target here for Brent, for the bears. But again, for us to consider lower areas, we need to see this nice break here below this tentative upside support line, and of course below this 70.30 level, and only then we will target the 68.80. Initially, of course, between here we do have that psychological 70 level as well, but I mean if that fails to withhold, then yep, further declines could be possible, and that's the area that we're going to be targeting. In terms of the upside, well, again, we need to see a nice good push above these recent highs that we saw here yesterday and the day before yesterday. So we need to see a nice good push above the 71.30 level. This way the commodity would confirm a forthcoming higher high, and we could target the 71.85 level. And just kind of show you what that level was here in the past, it's marked near the highs of the 12th of November last year. So 71.85, very good potential target here, but only if we see a nice good push above the 71.30. Don't get me wrong, I mean this is very close here, but if that gets broken, we could start aiming, like I said, for the levels last time tested in the beginning of November, and the area, a good potential area here above the 71.85 could be seen around this level, around this little high here that we saw here back on the 5th of November, and that was approximately around the 73.55 zone. So let me just kind of put that on the chart here. There we go. So sorry, not 73.55, but the 74.10 level, that's what we're talking about. So 74.10, that's the area to watch out for if we see a further acceleration to the upside here above the 71.85 level. So keep your eyes on this one. Like I said, in terms of the upside, we need to wait for that confirmation break here above the 71.30, and then we can target higher levels. Very quickly on DXY, I'm not going to spend too much time on it, just to kind of show you the core ones were slightly down, but the headline ones were quite not bad, let's put it that way. And we can see that the dollar is kind of pushing higher here, and breaking back above the 97 level, and kind of already testing this 97.20 level. Now I was talking about this area here, the 97.20, as this important level to watch, because if we see a nice good push above this area, then yep, our next target could be around the 97.50 zone, marked near the highs of the 2nd of April. But again, for now you can see that the DXY managed to travel higher. It reached its R2 today, near the 97.21, just slightly above that 20 zone, but now it's retracing back down. The only thing is that the retracement is not really that strong, so in a way there is a good chance we could see further acceleration here to the upside, and in a way maybe even actually closing the daily candle above this 97.20. And if so, I mean, there, like I said, it could be a good chance for more bulls to jump in on this one, and potentially, like I said, drive this the index towards the 97.50 level, so for now the highest point of April. Now keep your eyes on this one, guys. Keep your eyes on the 97.20. Let's see how that's going to play out. Jumping into GBPJPY. Now I was talking about this one this morning, so this is basically a very quick catch up on what's happening here. So what I was talking about it was that to keep an eye on some of these key levels. So basically on the downside, to keep an eye on the 144.90 level, and on the upside to watch this little short-term downside resistance line, which kind of in a way for now it seems to be playing its role. It held the rate here from kind of pushing higher, much higher, of course, and now you can see that the bears kind of stepped in here and quickly drove the pair back down even below the pivot. So to be honest, all this creates now more of a negative picture. The only thing is that we're not going to rush into this yet. For us, in order to, let's say, consider further declines, we need to see that nice break below the 144.90 level, and then we will target areas like the 143.75 or even lower. But to be honest, the 143.75 is quite an important one to watch, because you can see how well that held the rate from dropping lower here back on the 29th of March, on the 10th of March, and also around the 22nd of February. So very strong, important level here, but only if we see a nice good drop below the 144.90 level. In terms of the upside, as you can see by the arrow, that's what we are looking for. For us, a break above this downside resistance line is not really enough. We need to see a nice good confirmation break above the 146.05 level, and only then we'll target slightly higher areas again, like the 147. So keep your eyes on this one. Very interesting pair, and at the moment it looks like a very interesting spot for GBPJPY. Euro dollar selling off nicely. So I believe that Mario Draghi has finished his press conference already, and you can see that it of course not in a way the tone remained the same. So you can see that the euro dollar is falling apart here. Of course, don't get me wrong, I mean, it's not only that maybe somebody's selling the euro, but it's also the dollar strength here, kind of adding a little bit of kind of more logs into that fire. And you can see that the pair is now breaking below the 1.1250 level. So I was talking about this area this morning as well, and I was telling you guys, if we see a drop below the 1.1250 level, then yep, further declines could be possible. We could then again target the 1.1205 or the same, or actually the 1.12 zone in general, or around there. And if that fails to withhold, any further declines could be possible. But for now, certainly focus mainly on the on this area, the 1.1205. Now, don't get me wrong. Also, what I wanted to quickly show you, but again, this is a bit of a tentative thing. Again, a tentative line, and if we draw an upside support line here, and you can see that this is approximately around where the pair found kind of its support, and of course it did overshoot it here a little bit, but now it's kind of currently balancing around it. Again, like I said, I'll repeat myself, this is a bit of a tentative one, so don't rely on this upside support line too much. Just kind of mainly for drawing purposes here in a way, so something to have it like a gauge basically. So just for additional confirmation that this could drop further down if we see a nice good break, another good break below this upside support line. So if we see that, then yep, we will be targeting the 1.1205. If it continues to kind of hang around here and hang around near its S2, still watch out for this 112.50. That's going to be the important one to watch, because even if we see a retracement back to the upside here, but if the pair struggles to get back above the 1.1250, we could see the bears kind of stepping in again and potentially driving this one back down. So Very important level this one is. If this, let's say, decides to push back above, we see maybe the daily candle kind of closing above this level here. I mean, it would mean that this all this movement here that we had was just a false breakout. So in a way, we could maybe see the bulls picking up on this very quickly and pushing the pair back up again towards this 1.1285 level or this 200 EMA. The only thing is that this would create this little kind of neutral territory in that case. Like I said, if we see this this pair traveling back above the 112.50, well, be very cautious here, because yeah, we could maybe see a push higher. The only thing is, for us to get more confident with higher levels, we would like to see a nice good break above the initially above the 112.85, and then of course above a move above the 200 EMA, and this way we could target slightly higher levels. For now, looking at this picture at this point in time, this is of course looking more bearish than bullish, but again, you can see that this little tentative upside support line kind of is playing out, of course, together with this S2. But if we see a further slide lower, and if we see another break here below this upside support line, then like I said, the 112.05 is the target that we're keeping a close eye on. And the last pair I want to very quickly touch on, of course, logically, the DXY is, if the DXY is traveling higher, we do have a nice push here on the dollar pairs, where the dollar is the base, and you can see that USDCHF now broke above this key important level that I was talking about in one of my videos, where I was covering the USDCHF. So basically pushed back above the psychological one level. Now it's traveling above its key area of resistance near the 1.0013 zone, and it found good refuge here, or should I say even it got held here near the 1.0025 level, which is next to its R2. So the pair continues to trade within this little short-term rising channel. We are going to be targeting now slightly higher levels, at least towards at least the levels around the upper bound of this rising channel formation, and then we'll just take it from there, see if it actually wants to break it to the upside, or is this upper bound is going to have enough strength to withhold the bulls, and we could see then maybe the bears stepping in and taking the driver's seat and pushing this one back down. Again, for now, looking at this is looking more bullish than bearish, but then again, let's see how this is going to play out, and if this continues to travel higher, keep an eye on the upper bound of this rising channel formation. So okay guys, I hope you found it useful. I'll have to wrap it up here. Thank you very much for watching and listening, and if you want to join me tomorrow morning in my Traders Espresso, and that's 6 o'clock GMT time. But for now, I hope you have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.